Welcome to Watch Symposium. I'm Austin. All right, so I just took my bike to my daughter's swimming lesson. Now, this is her kindergarten swimming lesson, which is on Fridays. On Saturdays, she has her sports club swimming lesson that we do on our own. And you can see a little footage of the pool where she has her kindergarten swimming lesson before the kids arrived. I should have taken some video of the kids doing their thing, but just didn't even think about it. But I rode my bike there, and part of the reason I wore this is because, and this is the Seiko, is I wanted to see if it can handle a bike ride, and I feel certain it can. It's got the shock absorbent system, which is Seiko's proprietary shock absorbent system. I guess it's similar to the Paraflex, which is what the current Rolexes have. We'll see if it gains time or loses time. We'll see what happens. I don't think it's going to change. And if it does, well, it means it can't handle a bike ride, and that's something I'd like to find out. So this was a bit of a test. Speaking of Seiko, I did a little bidding on SBGE 009 last night, which is a white, very interesting textured white dialed GMT spring drive. And this was Yahoo auction. And what I'll do is I'll put a link in the description. I found it on the internet at a gray market dealer. They had it priced for 300,000 plus yen. And then I saw the same watch with the same pictures, and it was around 100,000 yen. That was what the bidding was. And it went up a bit. I got it up to about 225,000 yen, which is a great price for a spring drive Grand Seiko GMT. But I have a feeling that they had a what do you call it? A reserve set on it that was into the 300,000 range, and so I got to about 225,000, and I thought I see where this is going. It's interesting because I didn't get it, and I watched it count down to zero, and a minute later it was back up on the Yahoo auction site with a starting price of 1,000 yen, which is $10. So it's gonna go through that cycle again, and I guess if it doesn't reach that a similar price to what they're selling it for on their site, and I'll put a link in the description to that as well, then the cycle just will continue. So that's a bit irritating because they started at 10. I mean, look, they really should start it at a price that they're willing to sell it for. Link in the description to another very interesting watch. Now, this is something that I was really interested in. This is a 1655 Rolex, or is it? Now, if you're seeing this and it's a couple days past the 9th of February, then I don't know if you'll be able to see this listing, but this looks to be an old vintage 1655 Explorer 2. Certainly looks the part, and for about 24 hours I had some serious interest in it, but looking at the description, which is in Japanese, it turns out that the movement is not authentic, which I guess we can say it is at best. It's got aftermarket movement, or at worst, it's outright fake. Even so, it's got, last time I checked, 70,000 yen, which I don't know what to make of that. I'm hoping somebody's not buying it in order to try and sell it as the real thing, which, this could really pass off as the real thing. An old vintage 1655. And it's beaten up enough, and I could see some description being put down like this was my father's old 1655 and I don't know anything about it, and it's pretty beat up, so I'm just going to put $4,000 or $5,000 on it, which it's a $10,000 watch plus, $10,000+ watch. So I don't know why people are bidding on it. I don't know why people want it, but I wanted it before I thought it was, before I found out it was not really the real thing. The case looks so genuine. That's what puzzles me. It's an interesting watch, and it was for a while it was 30,000 yen, and it was 3 days to go, and I knew it would go up, but I thought, wow, is this an old beat up vintage 1655 for $300? I mean, even if it wasn't running, wow, what a deal. But yeah, check that out, and keep in mind that movement in there is not genuine. All right, well, I'm going to continue this video. I want to talk about two-tones, but my arm's getting tired, and let's change location. All right, part 2. Now, you guys will notice that I'm wearing the same shirt as I was yesterday. Just wanted to admit that is true. I wear this shirt a lot, and ages ago, a viewer, I think something along the lines of, you've got Rolexes, but you can't even have a different shirt or something. I don't know. He found a bunch of videos where I had made wearing this shirt, which you tend to do when it's your favorite shirt, and this is my favorite shirt. Should I make a video on my shirt? Let me know. Are you curious the story of the shirt? Yeah, it is the same shirt I was wearing yesterday, but hey, it's pretty clean. So I'm wearing a t-shirt, so yeah. Anyway, let's just wanted to put that out there. Yes, you're seeing the same shirt. All right. Moving on to horological things. So I wanted to talk about two-tone, and a viewer, WhereCar54, is it? Looked at my video yesterday and commented that that Jace should be thinking about a two-tone. Forget these steel sports models, and it's funny because you get a sort of a flavor of a person from their comments, but you never know if you're right or wrong. But I'm guessing that WhereCar54 is an older gentleman. Let me know if I'm right. But well, two-tone. Let's talk about two-tone. And my question that I'm going to be talking about is this: why is two-tone less desirable than steel sports? And first of all, that statement I think can be backed by the fact that they don't retain their value as much as a steel sports watch, and neither does a solid gold watch either. But there does seem to be a drop in value on the secondhand market. And you can see that that was one of the GMTs that was available when I was in Fukuoka. No steel model GMTs, so that goes to show you that you can probably go to Fukuoka and get a two-tone GMT, but you'll have no luck finding those steel sports models because they're gone, they sell. And why is that? I think it's a few reasons. Let me move the camera this way, get the sun out of my eyes a bit. I think, like I mentioned in another video, I think the true nature of the sports watch is steel. It's more practical, it's tougher, and I think it's really the essence of a sports watch that it be totally steel. And I think that's not lost on people, and I think there's purity in an all steel sports watch that appeals to people. I also mentioned in another video that a cost is a factor. $900,000 for a BLNR, yet I want to say that that two-tone was what is it? 1,200,000 yen. If I remember correctly, it was definitely more expensive at the AD than what a BLNR would be if they had one. Um, and so, in a sense, you're paying more. Well, you're just paying more. And so if you get a chance to get that all steel version, you're going to be paying less. And for a lot of people, the price alone might just be reason to go with the all steel. But an argument could be made that you're paying more for less strength. When it comes to two-tone, you're not going to go two-tone because of any performance aspects. The gold is going to be softer. So you're likely coming at it from an aesthetic point of view. And that brings me into another point. I think there's a fair few people that think the mixing of the two metals borders on tacky. And I'm of that mind. I don't altogether hate two-tones, and when it comes to a GMT vintage root beer two-tone on a Jubilee bracelet, not much for the oyster bracelet ones, but the Jubilee two-tone bracelet, well, I absolutely love that. That's a two-tone that I think is fantastic, and I don't know why I like that one, but I think that's a fantastic look with the brown dial. So that's certainly a two-tone that I could do. But your general generic two-tone, your Datejust or your GMT or your sub, I don't think the mixing of metals looks good, and I think it looks kind of tacky. Now, a lot of people say it's the best of both worlds, and you get that bit of gold, but you get the strength of the steel. And that's a good argument. But if you're looking for that bit of bling, then really what you probably want is all gold, yellow gold watch, and that's got just pure chunk of gold on your wrist. That's going to have more punch. That's going to have that's going to look like a flashier watch. It's going to look like a more expensive watch. And I think the type of person that is buying a watch for that bling factor might look at a two-tone as sort of a poor man's version of the all gold watch. A case could be made that a two-tone wearer really just wanted a solid gold watch but couldn't afford it. I'm not making that argument, but when you see a two-tone wearer, that could be the case. So, and I don't think if you're into the bling, the last thing you want to do is look like you scrimped and like you couldn't quite afford the one you really wanted. So I think if you're looking for that bling factor, you might just discount the two-tone and go straight for the all gold model. And I think I would too. I would do that because I just prefer one metal. I think it just looks better. I'm not a mix matching metal kind of guy. And I've told you guys before that I wouldn't say anti-gold, but gold doesn't do it for me. I think one exception could be, that root beer GMT, or a solid gold yellow Datejust, yellow gold Datejust. Again, did I say Datejust? I should have said day date, because if you're going to get a solid gold watch, and you probably wouldn't want to go Datejust, you go day date, right? Get that day function. It's not me, and I would never really seriously consider buying one. I mean, I've looked at them and I've imagined it, but never even thought seriously about going that route. And I don't think I ever really would or will. I much prefer the white metals, but gold does look great on an older guy. So if you're talking a 70, 80-year-old guy, or just into their later years with gray hair, the gold can really complement that look. And who knows, 30 years down the road, I might say, yeah, I think I'm ready to do a gold watch. But I think it would be probably solid gold versus the two-tone. But again, you do have that, you get that extra strength, so there is an argument. But anyway, let's stay on topic. We're talking about why they are sort of the undesirables of the Rolex range. And I think those are a few of the reasons. Any other reasons? Well, availability, I think, has a lot to do with it. You can always get the two-tones. And you can probably always get the solid gold versions as well, because people, it's a big deal to lay that kind of money down at an AD. And so while the steel sports models may be the first to go, the gold models may just not sell because of just the price factor. But it would be interesting if Rolex held back production on the two-tones and what that would do to the market. Would it whip up a feverishness about acquiring a two-tone among people? Probably, but I think it's the fact that you can go pretty much anywhere and get a two-tone whatever that makes you think, well, do I really want it? It's the fact that you can easily get it if you have the cash that makes you maybe think, well, do I want this, or do I want to hold out and get one of those special all steel models? We tend to want what we can't get and attach value to things that are more difficult to get, and maybe the fact that two-tone models are pretty easy to get could be a factor in that. What do you guys think about two-tone? I'm likely to go, of course, as you know, all steel. But before two-tone, I'd go all gold. And I have a feeling it would be yellow gold, only because I just don't know why I would get a white gold piece. None of the strength and none of the warm look of a all gold piece. But again, that's unlikely to happen. I will say that I do like older two-tone date justs. I think they can look kind of cool. They can sort of look vintagey. I wouldn't want one, but the gold sort of with a little age on it, the gold gets sort of a matte finish to it, to where I guess all of these micro scratches make it so it's not shining and blinging. I don't think anything looks worse than a brand new shining, blinging two-tone date just. I've seen them on people's wrists on the train, and it looks like it just came from the AD, and it was just so shiny, it just was too blingy. But you get a 10-year-old version that some would say is in badly need of a polish. The gold kind of flattens out a bit and doesn't reflect light in that shiny way, but can look kind of nice. And I could see possibly doing something like that in the future. Not seriously for me, but when I do see those pieces with a little age on them, they age nicely, is what I'm saying. So anyway, that's I think why two-tones are less desirable. It's sort of you don't get the strength, and you don't get the full bling factor. It's sort of lukewarm, right in the middle, and that can appeal to somebody. You get a little of the strength and a little of the bling, but I think for many people, we love our strength, or we love our bling, and if you want to go full bling, you want to go full gold, and if you want full functional strength, you want to go full steel. Anyway, let me know what you think. Take care. Thanks for watching. See you next time.